We are live. It's Friday. Sbtalksports, Real Time Web, Real Take Someone Fake the Mix. We are in the building. Use code RTOFD with Swift Energy to get 20% off your order. Sean, it's Friday. We got a lot of action-packed stuff going on today. We had reliving over the point of the Kendrick. We getting the aftermath for the Kendrick and Drake. Everything is still boiling over. We got Shaq with a lot of stuff to say. We got coaches getting hired and fired. People awards getting handed. The slow time of the season, which is kind of not because we got the NBA playoffs, which we got 2 games on tonight. Let me look on my phone to see what the score is off top. I want to just say what's up on top of the head. I believe, yes, end of the second, 52-49. Pacers are up against the Knicks. So it's a lot of stuff going on. How you feeling today on this Friday?
Doing good, man. Just glad for the weekend. Looking forward to some playoff games this weekend, some big games this weekend. Hopefully, we get some series extended this weekend. And, yeah, man, looking forward to it.
I'm 100% looking forward to it. Salute you guys watching it all streaming platforms that are watching us, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Kick. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys check us out on any platform. Look up Sbtalksports or look up Sean Webb. I think yours was just Sean Webb, right? Or it's S Webb, right? Your IG, Sean?
Well, my Twitter is SMW34.
SMW34. Get my boy Sean to follow. And also just look up Real Take So Fake the Mix or type in RTOFD to follow us on any other social platform. So, Sean, once I seen this news right here, I was like, you know what? Because you sent me this in a text message. It's time to sit down and have a conversation. And Sturdy, what you said in the comments on YouTube, we're going to talk about that too. But after one season, the Phoenix Suns has dismissed head coach Frank Vogel. I'm going to let you go first on this one, Sean. Are you shocked, surprised, and did he deserve to be fired?
So I answer the last question first. No, he didn't deserve to be fired. Obviously, he was dealing with a very flawed roster.
That's an understatement.
And I don't have this on, first account. I'm just saying outside looking in, I think the roster was flawed, part because the person who was making the push to get these deals done, i.e. the Kevin Durant deal and the Bradley Beal deal done, was not the front office. It was the ownership. And so Frank Vogel didn't make the decisions to, obviously he wasn't there when they brought in Kevin Durant, but he didn't make the decision to get Bradley Beal. Maybe they consulted him, maybe they didn't. But, it's when you have a flawed roster and pieces that don't fit together, it's hard to make it work. And they ran up against a great matchup problem for them in Minnesota.
Minnesota look really good right now. Not gonna lie, Minnesota look like they might go to the finals.
Right, yeah. And if you go back to, the regular season, their quote-unquote big three, which I think is an overused term, but their quote-unquote big three didn't play a lot of games together. And again, as I understand it, the big issue with Vogel wasn't the result of the season. It was that he and Kevin Durant pretty much had not spoken in months.
Hold up. Let's start before you keep going. I want to tip my hat to it. If anybody know who watch our show on the episode is, because speaking of the because I want to lose my point, lose track of this. Speaking of that point, I think I already told you this before, but once again, it's crazy how all y'all is on the Anthony Edwards train. But when I had showed you the video of Sean said that everybody called Sean crazy, but not everybody just Ant-Man stands now. Because I could have sworn during the season you said Ant-Man was your MVP, right? From Luka.
Yeah, January. It was around January. I thought he was
January.
The MVP favorite, yeah.
And everybody said they was looking at you crazy. Show what you mean, Luka. Now everybody just Ant-Man fans. You the first person I know besides you and GOAT James Kingdom, because I think at the beginning of the season he had Ant-Man as top 10 player. Nobody else looked at Ant-Man like that. So once again, tip my hat to you on that, brother. Sorry, go finish.
No. So I think the big part of the reason why he was dismissed was the relationship with him and Kevin Durant, whether it even existed at all, seemed to be irrevocably broken. And again, so it's a star-driven league. These guys dictate a lot more than meets the eye. Again, depending on the organization, some organizations they don't, but they dictate a lot more. And ultimately, they made the decision to move on from Frank Vogel. That said, not crying any rivers for Frank Vogel. He's going to get the remaining 4 years and roughly, $25 million left on his deal, $24 million left on his deal. So definitely not mad, with that. But it is, again, SB, it begs the question, what were the expectations for Frank Vogel, given the makeup of the roster and the fact that, again, their three quote unquote best players didn't play a lot of games together in the regular season.
That's true too.
So I just think it was just a bad. It probably wasn't the best marriage. He might not have been the best choice, for them from the jump. But again, I go back. I thought they made a mistake in firing Monty Williams. I thought it was James Jones, who's a former NBA player, who is their GM. I don't know what his situation is, and if his hands are being tied, but it does seem like Matt Ishbia coming in, wanted to make major moves, and he's getting a lot of outside consulting counsel, if you will, from Isaiah Thomas. And I just want to ask anybody, does anybody remember the last time Isaiah Thomas built a great team? I'll wait.
Never.
Yeah. Okay. Isaiah Thomas knows talent, but Isaiah Thomas didn't know how to put it together. Just look at the mid 2000s Knicks. So, yeah. But anyway, but curious your thoughts on the Vogel situation, SB.
Rap guy put it right there. The NBA coaches nowadays are scapegoats. Honestly, look, if you want to get a get-rich-quick scheme at this point, just become an NBA head coach with a bunch of Asian stars on there. You get a 5-year deal, just like somebody else who we just got. And then you go get fired after your first year. Now you got 4 years and just you doing nothing and got money coming in. So I think we talked about this a long time ago during the football season, not a long time ago, a minute ago during the football season, about how the Lions are doing well. And they actually gave the coach time to actually grow with the roster and imprint himself. You can't go into a situation with a flawed roster and get him in one season and expect him to just take over the world off the names of the players. It does not work like that. And I'm tired of coaches being scapegoats for these players. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, y'all did not play good. The roster was flawed. Who had a true inside paint presence to defend on that team? They did not have that. How they didn't have a point guard to initiate the offense, to initiate what Frank Vogel wanted to do. They tried to make these other players do that. That sounds like it's a front office problem. After one season, and everybody telling me, give these guys a chance to work it out. Well, give the guy who's controlling running the team chance to work it out too. Oh, KD and him ain't talk. He got to go. Come on, man. I don't. It's getting to the point. It's getting ridiculous. It's really getting to the point. It's getting ridiculous because it's like, okay, Sean, you let go of Frank Vogel, and I'm thinking like, hey, You got a master plan. You must got a crazy game plan. No, they just signed Mike Budenholzer to 5 years, $50 million to become the Phoenix Suns' next head coach. So you telling me, let's get rid of Frank Vogel. Truly didn't get everything together, but we're going to hire Bud for 5 years, $50 million. Where's that? Where does that make sense at? To me. Or I truly don't understand it at this point. It's like it's becoming a running joke at this point because only coaches into the league that's truly established is Spo, Pop, Steve Kerr. Unfortunately, because he can't coach unless he can't play. He ain't go to hell. If he got to play big man, he could. But Spo, Pop, Kerr. I don't even know Joe Mazzulla is 100%. I think they're the only three that's like solidified. Anybody else, they probably rotate them. It's just like musical chairs at this point, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, to your point. I mean, I think those are the three guys that are, if you will, the standard for for being solidified in terms of one organization, which again you never see anymore. Greg Popovich basically has a lifetime contract. Like,
yes.
And I like to remind people too, in case you don't know, the Spurs were getting ready to fire Greg Popovich in 1999 in the middle of the short season. They were going to get rid of him. And they didn't. And he figured out some things, and the Spurs went on a run. And we obviously know what happened that season that started their quote unquote dynasty. Spo, for as good as Spo is now, his first couple seasons, it was him trying to learn. It was him trying to figure it out. And again, we've talked about openly that, that first year of the Big Three in Miami did not start out well. There were mumblings that LeBron wanted him gone. He wanted Riley to come down and coach the team, and Riley said no. This is our coach, and he was right. Steve Kerr, again, won a championship his first year, but it wasn't perfect. They just got hot. They went on a run. He had to learn. He had to go through his growing pains. So it's not there's rarely, if ever, just a seamless. It's not Phil Jackson to the Lakers in his first year, or Steve Kerr to the Warriors in his first year, or Nick Nurse, getting promoted in Toronto in his first year and winning a championship. It's a process. It always has been. It always will be. And again, unfortunately, coaches are the scapegoats because they're the ones out front. If you work in the front office, you can hide up in the skybox. You can hide in your office in the practice facility, and you don't have to talk to the press where coaches do. So it's all of that. And again, I think what you're seeing, and I think someone said it best. It's you haven't had a player, rarely have had a player say, hey, you know what? We need to do our jobs better. We need to be better about our preparation and controlling the things that we can control to help our coach out, because they can't do everything. That's the nature of it.
And that was T. Lue, I believe, that said that. I think he was on one of the streets like, y'all, I'm the first person to get the blame, but it's a dude on the court getting paid $50 million. Why is nobody looking at him? Which is true. So of course he said, so if I'm gonna get the blame, of course I'm gonna call you out. I ain't going for it. T. Perfect said, knee-jerk and firing like Vogel and Ham are 100% media stunts in order to get ahead of the questions. Now we need to change the tide. Now we got to change the tide, and we're gonna talk about this too, where players and the people in the front office need to start answering too. Hey, you didn't have a point guard on this Phoenix Suns roster. Why you didn't go out and try to get a true point guard? Start answering these questions. Start answering those questions. Let's get to those points where it's clear, where you clear cut see what the problem is. Then you're gonna look at the coach, say, Coach, why you couldn't do your job? It's almost like the roster is bad. Or hey, Ty Lue, you out in the first round again? Oh, it's almost like Kawhi Leonard keep getting injured. It's almost like Paul George and those boys are not playing good. Why nobody looking at them like that? But we go get them a pass because they're getting paid $50 million. Before we get to the next question, Sean, what do you think about this Coach Bud hiring?
I mean, it sounds great. I would say, obviously, the Bud is the inverse of Vogel. Vogel, more of a defensive focused coach. He had Kevin Young on his staff, who was kind of their offensive coordinator. Bud is the flip side. Bud is more of an offensive innovator. But, again, it's still a flawed roster. And for as good as Bud has been, it took an otherworldly performance for Giannis in the finals for them to win a ring. So, I still, it's okay. But is it this major upgrade from Vogel? No, I don't.
No.
Until they fix the roster. No, you got to fix the roster. It's the equivalent of, well, we get new uniforms next year. Okay, cool. Did you fix the roster?
No.
We changing our logo next year. Cool. Did you fix the roster?
No.
Right. You know what I mean? So
we got new seats, new t-shirts.
Yeah. We moved to a new arena. Cool. Did you fix the roster? Like,
no.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
did you get a point guard for KD and Devin Booker?
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can fix the roster. I mean, they got a long off season, but I'm and again, even if they do fix the roster, so to speak, does it push them, into the favorite conversation in the West? No, because we know Minnesota's not going anywhere. Oklahoma City's not going anywhere. Dallas ain't going anywhere. We know Denver's going to retool regardless of what happens with them. So we're talking 4 teams right then and there. Then you got Memphis coming back next year with a healthy
people forget John them coming back.
They are coming back. Then we see a team like Houston that's up and coming that could very well be a playoff team next year.
6 teams.
That's 6 teams right there. We didn't even mention the Clippers and the Lakers, who are always going to be somewhere in the conversation.
Yeah.
San Antonio likely is going to make them. So outside of Portland, I mean, let's be real, So
San Antonio get another player or two, and if they get the other top pick and a point guard, San Antonio might be in that play-in conversation because Webby that deal.
Right. So so it's there's no guarantees. So let's see what they do.
Yeah, 100%. Now let's ask let's just look at it from where does it come from, right? Why do NBA coaches get the blame for team losing and only them? Well, they be the first. Let's see what they see, and then let's tell them the truth about the situation. So, Sean, why do you think NBA coaches get blamed for teams losing?
I think coaches get blamed regardless of what level you're in. Yeah, regardless of what level you're in. That's not to say the coach isn't culpable. But, I've never seen a coach miss a free throw.
Nope.
I've never seen a coach commit a live ball turnover.
Nope.
I've never seen a coach forget what they're doing on the floor in the middle of the game.
Nope.
I've never seen a coach give up second chance points.
No, I have not.
So, as much as they want to blame coaches, there's another side to that, is that there's an execution side of that. If you don't execute, as simple as that. I'll tell you this story real quick. There's a team in the NFL during their expansion years. Their coach name was John McKay. John McKay was asked about the execution of his team, and his response was, "I'm all for it." So what he was saying was tongue in cheek. He was saying we can kill them all because the team was awful. The team was terrible. So when the reporter said, how do you feel about the execution of your team? He said, "I'm all for it." Kill them all. So it happens. And again, I think it's the old adage in sports is players win, coaches lose, and people have largely either disregarded coaching or not taking coaching seriously. And also, let's be very clear, great players, the best of the best, want to be coached. They want to be coached. And when I say they want to be coached, meaning they want to be pushed to be better.
Okay.
Generally speaking. But I do think there is a generation of guys coming up who don't accept coaching to that degree. And I think there's another reason for that, which we can get into at a later time. But again, I think what's happening is we are seeing more. It's very easy to put every single thing wrong with the team on coaching.
And I think that's the easy way out. Because I also think the generation that's ended now, a lot of those players didn't really want to get coached. LeBron, Kevin Durant. I mean, you know, just the two. Because sometimes they feel like they're the smartest guy in the room, and sometimes it's cool to just shut up and listen. Sometimes, even if you know that you're smart, we know that you're smart. We know certain things you want, but sometimes I might be telling you something for the better, but you don't see it. But I should also hold on. Wait, I think I see Rap Guy. He said, "When will these sorry blank owners get blamed? It's always the head coach getting. We're gonna talk about that in 2 seconds. Before we get to the owners, listen, we gotta go to we have the coaches, but you know the coaches talk to somebody else in the huddle first too. Why the NBA players don't get blamed at all? Now look, we know it's the rare instances of certain players like a la LeBron. Maybe Kevin Durant on some certain situations. It's just because it's a media narrative that they try to push for their argument. But during the regular time, like majority of the time, I'm gonna say 95% of the time, NBA players don't get blamed. Like right now with the Clippers just losing, nobody said nothing truly here about Kawhi, Harden, Paul George, Suns, maybe Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant has like been like the poster child since the Warriors talk about him, but nobody said nothing about Devin Booker. At all. Nothing at all. Nobody said nothing about Brandon Ingram. Said nothing at all. Nothing. Why is it just quiet? That's my problem. NBA players should be held accountable. Because I remember one series where the Houston Rockets played against the Golden State Warriors. Easily could have won. But you telling me it's the part that the coach should get fired because they missed 20 plus threes? And it was open. Why the players didn't get blamed about that? Oh, the coach did drop a good game plan. No, y'all missed 20 plus threes. Wide open at that. Y'all didn't execute. So, Sean, why do NBA players, besides obviously instead of when they pushing the narrative for like some GOAT conversation or favorite player conversation, why don't players get blamed at all? Why do they avoid it?
Because I think it's easier to put losses on the team as opposed to one individual. When it comes to players. But when it comes to coaches, it's easy to put losses on one individual as opposed to the team. And what I mean by the team is the coaching staff. There's a coaching staff. There's a bunch of coaches that are part of the staff, and each of them have their responsibility when it comes to advanced scouting, game planning, all of that stuff, player development. They all have their different roles. I can't say why NBA players don't get the blame. I think it's again because I think it's easy. It's easy when you have a scapegoat, right? I heard someone make the suggestion the other day that LeBron James should be the player coach for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Byron Scott.
Yes.
I agree at this point.
Right. Because if you think it's easy sitting in this chair, it's a different. I'm telling you. And obviously, I didn't coach in the NBA. I coached AAU. It's different when you're sitting in that chair, particularly if you have played, because you can't control it when you're sitting in the chair. Right?
So you got to watch it.
So at the end of the day, I think you got to be very careful about how much you put on the coach. When a couple weeks ago, when we did a segment about Draymond basically not being happy with Anthony Davis for publicly criticizing Darvin Ham. I didn't like it either. Wasn't a big fan of it.
I wasn't either.
But again, I don't think most great players understand what it takes to be a great coach.
100%.
Which is why most great players don't go on to become great coaches.
Yeah, majority of the time. I can tell you what great player. That's what we said. Great player. That's who was a great player and a great coach.
All-time great players generally don't become great coaches. Probably the one that probably stands out, maybe Larry Bird. But what Larry Bird was smart enough to do was to have two great assistants with him. He had Rick Carlisle as an assistant, and I'm trying to remember who his other assistant was right off. So Bird's the head coach. He's going to get a lot of the credit, but he's also someone who understood how to put a staff around. Most of your role players or your, not so great players tend to become better coaches because they understand how to connect with 4 through 15.
Yep.
Anybody can talk 1, 2, 3. Can you talk 4 through 15?
Can you execute that?
Yeah. And by 4 through 15, I'm talking 4 through 15 on your roster. Can you keep the person who's not playing much engaged enough that if and when you need them, they're ready to go?
And the crazy part about it is, I think that's when Spo got his respect. People start realizing what he did with Duncan Robinson. Like when he was out for a while, they took him out of rotation, found a way to get him back in the game, kept that man involved, and then he became a killer again. I think that's when Spo showed his, and that's like nobody could deny Eric Spo. Like, nah, he that deal. Yeah. Dude was out the rotation for like 30 games. Man. All right, we need you. Came right back, did his thing. He said, a rap guy had a question. He said, we need to ask those tough questions. Are these older NBA stars really superstars, or they just have superstar talent? No, they're just a superstar name at this point because they're old. They're just a superstar name. It looks good. Like LeBron made the joke about, he was like, his wife said that he's an 03 Cadillac and I never changed the tires. That's all these new stars is. Yes, it is a Cadillac Escalade, but I guarantee you, them tires is gone. Right. Tires are gone.
Ain't no Bluetooth connection in there. Ain't none of that.
They got the CD player in the car.
Ain't no Wi-Fi network in your car. None of that. Yeah, it's 03.
It's 03. Yeah. That's it. So it's just the name. The name looked good. You know what I'm saying? But but that's an old car.
I'm telling you, it's funny you mentioned that, SB. I'll just say this real quick. I remember talking to this young lady, and I was like, would you date a guy who prefer to date a guy who drove a Ford Mustang or a Mercedes? She's like, a Mercedes. I said, well, what if it's a 91 Mercedes, but it's a 2020 Mustang?
And she said, still a Mercedes?
She ain't how to answer it.
Oh, because they don't make. Come on now, it's a terrible car.
So to your point, people get wrapped up in the name. Yes. Not about the name; it's where you are in your game.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to look in that mirror. A lot of people don't, and a lot of y'all are heavy fans of these guys. So just as much as they think delusional in their head, as much as y'all think they should still, because they're not the same. You got to look at them. Man. It's like what's that old joke they used to make with the dog or like the horse, like Lassie? Sometimes you got to take Lassie for that drive and go out back. It's over with. It's just that's it, man. Lassie don't gallop the same, man. It's cool. It just happens like that. Time goes on. It's the reason why they say a Father Time is undefeated. Salute Lakers at 5. He said NBA players used to get blamed. Jordan got blamed. Like I said, only time people get blamed if it was a narrative behind it. KD hate narratives, but yeah. Like I said, if it ain't a narrative behind it, players don't get blamed at all. Kawhi only get blamed when they try to call him a fraud and narrative that he shouldn't be up there with the greats. But if they don't do that, nobody says nothing about Kawhi Leonard at all. Nothing at all. But this the realest one, though. And I don't understand this. How does the front office keep getting overlooked and avoiding the smoke? I'm looking at, I use my team, for example, right now, the Chicago Bulls. We put this team together with Lonzo, Zach, DeMar. We had 3 months of good basketball, right? 3 months. Lonzo get hurt. Zach and DeMar clearly don't look the same. I mean, don't look good together. Let's wait for Zoe. Zoe ain't played since Allen Iverson was in the league, and y'all still trying to hope and wait that this dude come back and put the team together. It don't work. But no, we're going to look at everybody else or the coaches and all this and say, man, y'all got to do better. And no, the team does not work. It does not work. I watched the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Me and you was not how Adrian Grillin, but then you go with Doc Rivers. But we looked at this team and said, okay, you getting rid of Drew Holiday. I know you got a plan to get somebody on the defensive side of the ball at some point of the season, before the season even started. They brought this same team in, knowing that was a liability, got cooked, got desperate, ended up getting old Patrick Beverly, and Patrick Beverly couldn't save that situation. But we're going to look at them and be like, oh, Doc Rivers, which he ain't doing that much of a good job. He came mid-season anyway. But, yeah, Doc Rivers and the players. Like, no, the roster is bad. The roster is flawed. Frank Vogel just got fired. You knowing you got 3 shooting guards. You count KD, well, 3 dudes that play the same. You have no point guard. You have no true defensive presence in the paint. But we're going to blame Frank Vogel and fire Frank Vogel because the roster didn't work. No, the roster was flawed on paper. We look at even with the Lakers, we're going to blame Darvin Ham, which I ain't going to lie, his rotations is kind of bad. But you knew the problem with this roster. You needed shooting. How did you not go get any more shooting to improve this roster? But no, nobody's calling out these guys in the front office. I don't know because everybody don't look up these guys' names or what, Sean. But it's time for them to stop avoiding this smoke. I believe they need to start catching that fire too, right? Because if Darvin Ham got fired, Rob Pelinka should have got fired. If Frank Vogel got fired, who is it? Is it James Jones? James Jones should have got fired. I forgot who running the Bucks right now, but if Adrian Griffin got fired, the dude who run the Bucks should have got fired at the end of this year too, because you put this trash roster together and expect me to cook up with like half the ingredients.
I think this thing of star chasing has gotten a little out of control.
Say that again, brother. Man, you telling the truth on that one.
Yeah, and this is no way to devalue stars. But every star don't fit with every star.
Agreed.
Right? We've seen it throughout NBA history. Adrian Dantley was more talented than Mark Aguirre.
Agreed.
But Mark Aguirre fit the Pistons better with Isaiah Thomas, with Joe Dumars, and with that team. And also with the emergence of Dennis Rodman, a young Dennis Rodman. The move they made sense. But in the grand spectrum of things, Adrian Dantley was more talented.
Adrian Dantley was a dog. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah. Adrian Dantley is one of the best small forwards of all time. When the Pistons got him, I was like, oh, okay. Like, they were loading up. Like, hey, we get rid of we're loading up. But he did not fit with them long term. And he didn't get along with Isaiah. And there's other issues, backstory about that. I don't want to get into that. It's not about star chasing. It's about fit chasing.
Yes.
It's about fit chasing. Do these guys fit together? And basketball fit is great. Personality fit matters too.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, those little things that does matter. Even with the Bulls in the 90s, they lost the second run. Horace Grant did his thing. Jordan knew, hey, we need another rebounder. Everybody, and I hate when people do this now because people got like this vivid memory, like, oh yeah, the Bulls just got super team, Rodman, the best. This is Rodman's on the way out the league. We don't try to play that role, y'all. Like I don't have a vivid memory of that, but they added Rodman because he knew what they needed: a defender, rebounder, fit.
Right. And think about that to that point, SB. They didn't just add Rodman the player; they added Rodman the personality.
And you have to make that fit,
and you have to make it work. And to his credit, Dennis came in and did his job on tune to 3 more championships and one of the greatest seasons in NBA history.
Yes. That was
So at the end of the day, it's not just, again, getting the star. It's, can you get this person to buy in and to add to positively the culture that we've built? I don't care about the talent.
Yeah.
I care about the fit.
Yes. Fit is more important than talent.
Fit is more important than talent. And so, again, ultimately, a lot of these guys don't always fit. And, and again, I've seen teams go star chasing. It's like, we're going to get this guy. We're going to get that guy.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. The aforementioned Isaiah Thomas thought it was a good idea to put Stephon Marbury in the same backcourt with Steve Francis.
Terrible. I like both, but that was probably one of the smallest back.
It was the smallest backcourt, and it didn't fit because both guys needed the ball.
Thank you. Yes, fit matters.
So fit matters, and buy-in matters too. Allen Iverson, when he got traded to Detroit from Denver for Chauncey Billups, didn't work. because you had 3 guys who were basically told you're going to start. Well, only 2 guys can start.
Yep.
So somebody got to say, you know what? I'm good. I'm okay. I'll come off the bench. No big deal. Let's go.
Yeah, AI wasn't coming out the bench. AI was like, no, I'm AI. No.
The Warriors don't go on the 2-year run they went on pre-KD if Andre Iguodala says, no, I got to start.
Agreed.
If Steve Kerr went to him and said, hey, for this team, we need you to come off the bench. We need Harrison Barnes to start.
And Steve Kerr knew Steve Kerr knew personality-wise, Harrison Barnes needed that confidence to start to get what he wanted from him. As I said, that personality, what you said about personality, that matters. That matters.
It matters. So this whole idea, we just go star chase, we're going to star chase, we're going to star chase. That is not how you build a team. You get a foundational guy and you say, can we build it around that person? Or can we get 2 and you say, can we build it around that person? But just be like, hey, we got the best player or the best talent in the deal. We won the deal. No. Did you get the best fit in the deal?
And then even with go back into like Team USA, right? And people was doing Team USA and we was losing because they just grabbed the name best talent. And then even it's crazy. I bring this up. I literally just rewatched the Redeem Team documentary, and they was like, "Bro, we was playing this team. They just had so much well chemistry. The team fit better, and they played together. So, know what they started doing? Let's go for. We want to get all the star names. Now, let's get the star names that fit well together. Let's get our team chemistry. Let's play more together. Let's get the personnel that will make the team gel. Like I was even mad that this go round that I was like." Not Jalen Brunson, Kyrie Irving. I was like, yeah, I wish Kyrie Irving could actually get on because he never played on Team USA. But sometimes you got to understand that Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton fit better for what they need. Jalen Brunson, I don't want to hear that. Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday fit better with the team. And that's what matters sometimes more than anything. Names, chemistry, and personality over names. Always going to be. Always. I don't care what anybody says. It's always going to be that.
Yeah, and again, I go back to and I heard complaining, or Charles Barkley was on Shannon Sharp's podcast. He was talking about why Isaiah wasn't on the Dream Team, and that Isaiah was a better player than John Stockton. For point of reference, the last time Isaiah Thomas made the All-NBA team was 1988.
And this was 92.
This was 92.
Yeah.
You know who had been on all NBA team them 3 years before that? John Stockton.
Mr. Stockton. And looking at the team,
yeah,
personality, and on the court, John Stockton fit better. He did. John Stockton fit better.
So again, it's a matter of, hey, at the end of the day, you know, fit matters. And Rap God, it wasn't that the Miami really wasn't a good fit. It wasn't that at all. It was LeBron and D Wade had one of those guys had to change the way they play, and obviously D Wade said, "Hey, I will play off of you. Yes, I will figure it out." That's why it ultimately fit. But yeah, and also couple that with the fact that they asked Chris Bosh to spread out more and to step out to the 3-point line more because it created more spacing for those two guys that had driving lanes. So yeah, it might not have been the best fit because again, the talents weren't a perfect set, but the mentality was always there that, hey, we came together to win. We will figure it out off of our best player. Now we just need our best player to play his best. Because the other reason why it didn't really fit, because the best player played like crap in the 2011 finals.
Yep, wet the bed. Shout out Sports PSP. Like he said, like and subscribe to the pod. Appreciate you. You gotta get Sports PSP on too. So, yeah, but also I wanted to say this too right here. The era of overplaying big names is coming to an end. Now it's about constructing a team in all capital letters. I agree with that. You need a team now, with the players who could play both ends on the floor and won't ask for $50 million a year to do it. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this era of this teams that's winning now is going to change the narrative because looking at what these teams doing now, LeBron, I'm playing 2 more years. I want to play. If the Lakers give LeBron $50 million And they're telling me you care about popularity, you don't care about winning, because Minnesota is the blueprint of telling you what you need to get. You need to get a vet or a good leader at that point guard who can run a star player at any point position, some good lengthy wing defenders, another versatile scorer at the big, and paint protection. And you don't need to get that in 5 people. And the crazy part about it, Minnesota got that in 5 people plus people off the bench. You need to get that through 1 through 8 players. And Minnesota go get to that point. And then now we got Anthony Edwards in the chat saying, I'm taking the McNuggets behind the woodshed tonight. No Diddy 3-0. And it's funny that you bring up Anthony Edwards because we got a topic on Anthony Edwards, Sean. Anthony Edwards wants everybody to stop comparing his game to Michael Jordan. And I can 100% agree. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we did, I ain't going to lie, even with LeBron, we did too much comparison on LeBron and Kobe era, but I enjoyed it. You don't get the full enjoyment of what you really seeing from this kid or this player. Stop comparing. The man is 22. Can he actually get into his prime yet? Because Anthony Edwards not nowhere near his prime yet. That's why Anthony Edwards wants y'all guys to stop, because y'all not going to fully enjoy what he's going to bring to the court because y'all too busy comparing him to Mike. Stop comparing him to Mike. No, compare him to Anthony Edwards. Let him become the best version of Anthony Edwards. And I knew it was going to be a problem, Sean, when Chris Broussard, it seemed like, I ain't gonna lie, Chris Broussard takes from let's sort like that, but they don't really outlandish unless he's talking about Michael Jordan. He just start getting outlandish. He was like, yeah, Anthony Edwards could never be better than Mike, never be in the GOAT. I'm like, bro, this man is 22. You don't know what if he go off with 2 3-peats, win 7 rings, and lead the league in all-time scoring, or top 5 in scoring, top 5 in certain categories. He gonna be the GOAT. It don't matter. It's never no clear-cut GOAT in the situation. But Anthony Edwards, I love that this kid is saying this, that he's getting on to the point of nipping it in the bud now. Stop comparing me to Jordan. Stop doing that. I'm Anthony Edwards. I'm going to be the best version of me. But what you think about Anthony Edwards saying he want people to start comparing him to Mike? Because he don't duck no smoke, because it ain't him ducking smoke. He just wants.
I think he just wants. I think he just wants to have people just appreciate who he is. To your point, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to lie. I understand why the comparisons are made.
I mean, me too. Me too. Nobody's saying it.
And again, I think sometimes it's I'm a music person. SB, obviously, I do things in the music space as well. But Miles Davis, I believe, is the one who's quoted as saying, "I became the musician I was supposed to be when I learned to play like myself." Mm-hmm. So when you first start out, you tend to mimic other people. You tend to pull things from guys or whatever. And Anthony Edwards coming up, as a ball player, probably did see things from guys that he liked. It was like, oh, I'm going to do this and I want to do that. Now he wants to play like himself. And I have no issue with that. Now, that said, my nickname for him is Terry McGinnis. I call he's
Why you call him Terry McGinnis? Yeah. Batman Beyond and Batman Beyond bar.
It's Ant-Man Beyond. Because he is Terry McGinnis. You know how Terry McGinnis became Batman. He had the nanites injected into him, into his mom while she was pregnant with him. So, Bruce Wayne wasn't his father, but he had those Bruce Wayne, DNA, those Bruce Wayne genes. Yeah. To be clear, Ant has those Jordan genes, and it's not even just in his game. Mm-hmm. It's in his walk. He's got that personality, very, very similar to Jordan around his same age. Yeah. Just real confidence to himself. But he's letting his game speak. And I think that's really what he wants. And so I hope people invariably stop comparing him, but they won't. This is what they do in sports media, and and it's not going to change anytime soon, unfortunately, for him. But at the end of the day, he just got to focus on basketball, focus on helping his team, try to win at the highest level, and everything else will, work itself out.
Yeah. No, and I 100% agree on that. But if this kid do pull the unthinkable off this year, he gonna set the standard a little bit different for everybody. Because somebody set that standard early. What if he going just really speak? A boy can dream, a man can dream. What if he going like a Patrick Mahomes run in the NBA early in his career? Because if he win, they gonna glaze him next year. They gonna be the number 1 seed. They gonna give him an MVP. Because now it's like, all right, this kid is him, so we gonna give him an MVP. You know how they get down, Sean. You know how they get down. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But also in other news, another player who gets, like I said, LeBron gets compared to Jordan Kobe too much in this game. Nothing like you know why though. Wood said the NBA is probably looking for the next MJ. Just look for the next star. I wish so too, because you don't appreciate it. Even Kobe didn't want to be compared to.
Well, rap God. See, that's the problem, right? Mm-hmm. Kobe didn't want the Jordan comparison, but he did everything like Jordan. He literally
purposely on purpose.
He literally said, "Everything you got from me, I got from him."
Mm-hmm.
He said that out of his own mouth. Hey. So you can not want the comparison, but it's like, well, you kind of did everything like this dude did it.
I'm not gonna lie. Kobe, the only person who can't get away with saying that, because if I can make a 40-minute collage of you and Mike side by side, play by play, the same thing. No, you can't. Nah, brother. Yeah. Nah. I love the mama. RP the mama. I love mama, but he ain't getting away with that. He can't say that. Yeah. Another underlooked player. Rudy Gobert's winning a record time 4th Defensive Player of the Year. I'm cool with it. I know a lot of people cried and wanted Wemby, but this is where when we're gonna have this next conversation about this other award that was announced not too long ago, because this is crazy now, because now it's like you pick Gobert because of the winning, because Wemby was losing. And obviously you can't give anybody who's last place Defensive Player of the Year. That's understandable. So winning came into play with the DPOY award. And also Rudy Gobert don't get a lot of love for how great he is a defender. And I'm sorry, you guys out there. He will be a first ballot Hall of Fame. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Yes, because the NBA stuff count. Record time, 4 times to do that. I think only people who did it 4 times was I'm going to go off the top of the head. Is it Ben? Did Ben get it 4? Dwight, and this I think it's another player, right? Sean?
No. I think it's just
Dwight,
just Ben, and Dikembe and
Dwight only had 3.
I think Dwight only had 3. Hold on, let me make sure.
Yeah, fact check.
Let me just make sure. I thought Dwight only had 3.
I thought Dwight had got another one. I thought he had snuck on one more week. I know he won like 3 straight, and then I thought he had got another.
No, it's Mutombo, Ben Wallace, and Rudy. Dwight had 3. Everybody else had 2. Everybody else who's won multiple times had 2.
So he's in a record-setting club, and it's also a high chance if Wemby don't win again, and the Timberwolves defense look like they're gonna be the same, he probably gonna get 5. He gonna be a first ballot Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, you guys. I know y'all hate him. I think Jaden McDaniels is the best perimeter defender in the league and but I don't know if he's 100% the best defender on the team, because him and Rudy Gobert together is lockdown season. But what you think about Rudy Gobert with a DPOY? Did he deserve it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, they were the number 1 defense in the league this year.
That is true.
And you can't take it away from they were number 1 defense in the league this year. The Spurs were bottom, in the bottom 4th of the league.
Even though it did go up when Wemby they was a way better defense team when Wemby was on the court.
Yeah.
We know that. Before anybody say in the comments say, but when Wemby on the court, they was number 10. Yeah. No, like we know that, bro. But sorry.
But no. So you're fine. So and it gets and listen, the team defense and metrics for a lot of voters does factor into the DPOY. Right, it always has, right? Yeah. We could talk about years past where certain people thought they should have won, but another person won. Again, because DPOY, a lot of voters do count the team defensive metrics, and if their team, that player's team, is better than another player's team in defensive metrics, they tend to lean to that player. So it always factors in. Rudy Gobert, I believe, was the best defender on the best defensive team.
Yes.
And I think that's fine. But again, the other 2 guys who were in the hunt, Gobert, Bam Adebayo, we know that those guys are great defensively. I think, again, Bam is a little underrated at times defensively.
Very underrated.
His ability to switch 1 through 5, and I don't say that just because that's my dude, and I'm a Heat fan. But again, it's not about individual awards. Ultimately, because Rudy, I'm sure, wants a ring. But to your point, SB, his orange jacket is getting tailor-made for the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. When you win 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, again, only other 2 guys who got 4. are both in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's coming.
100% Hall of Fame. But we got a lot of controversy on this next award, Shar, because both of us, we can just acknowledge the fact we both appreciate. I had Tatum, you had Luka. I think Canada, you can argue for your boy, your pick that you had. But now we got a controversy. Nikola Jokic wins his third MVP in 4 seasons. A lot of things kicked up controversy. Before we get into the controversy, though, do you think Nikola Jokic should have got the MVP this year?
I think,
if not, then who?
I honestly, SB, I think this year, like many years, there's 3 or 4 guys who, if the MVP went to them, you can't be mad. This was one of those seasons where I don't believe anybody separated themselves. This wasn't a 2016 Steph or 2013 LeBron or some other years where a guy just really just kind of separated himself from the field. This was a year where I thought 3 or 4 guys could have easily won the MVP, maybe even 5. But it's only one award. It can only go to one person. The voters felt Joker was the MVP. He was one of those few guys who it could have gone to without, and that's the nature of it. So certainly, it's again, the biggest problem with the MVP award, and I say problem because for lack of a better term, is there is no definitive way for the NBA to define what the V means in MVP. Right? Valuable is very subjective. Conversely, in the NFL, we know the V stands for QB.
They molded that V into 2 letters.
Yeah. So we know it's generally going to go to a quarterback unless there's a receiver or a running back who has this crazy historic season, a la Adrian Peterson in 2012. So that is the nature of it. But I had no problem with Joker winning the MVP. He's now, a 3-time MVP, only one of 9 guys in NBA history who won 3 or MVPs or more. So, that's it.
Yeah. For me, I don't have a problem with Joker winning it. I feel like this was like the voters didn't really want it because obviously SGA, Jokic, Luka was pretty much a clear cut favorite coming to the end. All 3 of them had cases to deserve it. I feel like the voters went with the safe pick of Jokic because everybody had the Nuggets as a favorites going into the playoffs. And it won't be too much extra controversy about picking Jokic. I feel like Jokic, this was like, we really don't know. Let's just go with the guy who we think is better than all of them. It was like, yeah, this is a safe pick. That's crazy that they down 2-0 right now. Nobody expected that. Now it's like, now they're going to get more heat for what they did on the pick. Like, you see what's happened. He finna get swept with the MVP, but whatever. So no, I didn't really have a true problem with it. My problem only came with, like you just said, how they defining the V. They change it every year. And my problem came into play when, why you could get SGA. SGA is the number 1 seed, or Tatum, they're the number 1 seed. So winning kind of don't matter. Because I know, somebody going to say, but the Nuggets was like kind of tied for the first seed. So kind of saying, not really, because Jokic other years, if you look at where they finished at when he got it, they was nowhere near the number 1 seed. And by far, in my opinion, during this season, Luka has been far the best player. He played the best this year. And if you're going off who played the best this year, I think Luka should have got it if you wasn't going to reward winning between Tatum or SGA. But it's the Jokic. Jokic did a great job. They've been in the favorites going to the championship, so I'm not mad at it. So, obviously, during the time, everybody gets their award announced to them. TNT. And like you said before this, so Shaq pulled the Kanye West. Shaq disrespectfully told Jokic while presenting him an award, because everybody want to try to be this year. I'm this real person, so I got to say stuff. Sometimes it's a time and place for everything. You could have waited till after next time you talk to Jokic. Hey, I still didn't think you deserve MVP. You presented this man the award. Shaq disrespectfully told Jokic right when he announced the award and right when he knew he won it. He didn't think he deserved it. SGA should have won the MVP. Sean, how do you feel about Shaq doing it? Which is kind of shocking for Shaq. Shaq kind of wild a little bit for that one. What do you think?
So I didn't really care for it. SB, I thought it was in poor taste. to do that at that time. You know, Turner, TNT, since we don't do the NBA awards show anymore, they get the pleasure of announcing who the award winners are live on television. And not only do they get the pleasure of announcing them, you generally know the person who won the award is going to be coming on to talk right after you make the announcement. I thought it was in poor taste to do what he did that way. You know, I mean, and again, Shaq won the MVP 24 years ago. You know, just imagine, because again, they weren't announcing them on, you know, a live studio show. It was usually a press conference, and normally at a press conference. And imagine if the commissioner at the time, David Stern, you know, is handing Shaq the award, and in his comments says, "Well, you know what? I think Kevin Garnett should have been the MVP, who was second that year to Shaq in the voting." You know, like how would that have made Shaq felt? Like,
you would have pissed.
Right. Don't take away from this guy's moment, this person's moment, with your animus and with your opinion. Again, you felt how you felt about SGA. Somebody said SGA didn't have a great season. That's cool. But in that moment, it wasn't about SGA. It wasn't about who you thought should have won. It was about who the voters voted for and ultimately who won, and that person getting their just due in that moment. So it was important. It thought it was in poor taste, and I think Shaq is better than that.
Yeah, I think Shaq was 100% better than that too. I like you said, it was a time and place. I think we live in an era where it's like people too worried about the backlash you're gonna get on social media because Shaq gave his opinion before it did. And I guess he just had to feel like I gotta keep it real and say it again to him. And it's like, no, it's a time and place for it. This is his moment. He getting this award. Don't rain on his parade. And it got to the point where it got so bad where it leaked over with him and Shannon Sharp, and that led to a whole nother batch of controversy where Shannon Sharp and them guys had an opinion because I think, Gil is on part of the nightcap too, and they was arguing about Jokic getting MVP. Gilbert had a problem with so when it doesn't matter, why Tatum not really get enough credit, everything like that. Then Shannon Sharp had an opinion about Shaq, and then that led to Shaq still mad about the MVP that he didn't win. Shaq didn't pull enough full effort, anything like that. Then Shaq responds and go on a whole rant on Instagram. I'm shorting it because I feel like these guys are grandpas over here. Grandpas arguing. It's like you see two old guys fighting in the bingo hall. This is what this is right here. But then Shaq goes on a whole rant saying that you was never one of the greatest tight ends ever. Nobody put you in that conversation. Silly back and forth, all because of Shaq being silly from the point of raining on Jokic parade, pulling the rug up under him, and then Shannon Sharp having an opinion on it, and then it led to a bunch of controversy. And this was the whole point was like, sometimes everything don't have to be said at that point in time. And that led to a whole thing. If you did pay attention to what happened with them, how do you feel about that situation?
Yeah, I just think it's unfortunate that two grown men are doing that back and forth like that. Again,
and Shaq made a diss track too, if you didn't hear it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna listen to that. Again, I think Shannon was giving his take on what Shaq did, which again we just did. Which again, I think the big issue SB was it was just poor timing. And you gotta, as an analyst who's on a huge platform, you gotta have better judgment than that to give that take. Now, again, Ernie went to him for his thoughts after Shaq read who the MVP was. I believe. I think Shaq was the one who announced it, or said it. But ultimately, it's just you don't do that. Don't take, especially knowing full well you're getting ready to talk to the guy. He's standing by to talk to you. So it was just in poor taste on Shaq's part. And and Shaq, I mean, again, Shaq is a big playful guy, at times, but there are times where Shaq does come off very bitter and bitter. Yes. And I think Shaq comes off that way because when Shaq reflects back on parts of his life, he knows he didn't give his full commitment and effort to it.
Yeah.
But you got to treat your NBA career like you treat your former marriage. Know you didn't do your best. Know you messed up, and move on.
Yep. You got
Move
to.
on. You ain't coming back. Move on.
Yep. And that's why Shaq is going through what he's, because when you don't put, if you know you half-assed and then you knew you could have gave more, because now you're seeing like a lot of these other guys who gave more, like he said he wanted to break the record and then say about Wilt, I'm the best player when I pass Wilt, didn't put too much effort into that. Then he said he want to get all these, didn't put too much effort towards that. Didn't want to put his ego to the side. And it's just true. Shaq, one of my favorite players. My mama favorite player. I got named after him. That's my mama's favorite player. Shaq didn't even want to put his ego to the side and let Kobe take over the team. And they could have probably won way more rings. Like Kareem, it's a lot of things that, like, I feel like Shaq only come off that way when he feel bitter and something wrong with. But besides that, 85% of the time, Shaq seemed like a cool guy. Last story of the day. It looks like Sean, them rookies that everybody was complaining about, and the WNBA finally might make a profit this year. It might be like $1 over, but they're going to make a profit this year with these new rookies that came in, because now, just like the Warriors, I believe they're going to be in San Francisco. Yes. We got the San Francisco Lady Warriors. Or Golden State, whatever they're going to call it. Now we're going to get the Toronto. Toronto got to order the team too, man. So we go to look like the WNBA is expanding. Obviously, we still in the precursor of what we think these young ladies are going to do right now. But I can say right now, if the preseason games are doing good, when the regular season starts, it's going to take over to the next level. But what's your opinion on Toronto getting a team?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised that they were the choice to get a team. But that said, they got a big money owner, got a billionaire who's a part of their MLSE. So it's they're the group that owns the Toronto Maple Leafs and I believe the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken. They got a big deep pocket owner. And hopefully Toronto comes out and shows out for the WNBA team. I will say they said they wanted to get the 16 teams. I think the goal was to get the 16 teams by 2028 because they understand, again, there's a lot of young ladies coming up in high school and obviously in college basketball. You want to make sure you got enough jobs for them.
Yes.
Because again, Juju be here in a couple years, presumably. You got
Paige.
Miara. Yeah, you got Paige. You got Miara O'Neal, who's going to be coming up here in the next few years. So you want to make sure you got enough jobs for them. So I think, expansion for the WNBA is great, is needed, is good. Get out in front of it. But again, that said, market your league. You still got to market the league better.
And then the fan, and I'm so happy because I was trying to look and see that they got a name for this team yet. They don't. But ideas. And I also like how now it's like the fans are holding them accountable. But also, let me say this. I don't know if you get the chance to see this. The Phoenix Mercury, just like the Dynasty, is moving in poor taste. So obviously, WNBA got a whole bunch of new fans. And I believe I seen the tweet. And if it's 100% wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong. But I think they tweeted there was like, yeah, we happy all y'all live here now, but we got 27 years of history. Y'all better catch up on it. Everybody looking like, bro, that ain't the time for that right now. Like, let's push them first and get this money. And then once you try to bait the trap before you actually catch your food. You talk about some, I'm gonna do all this to this fish when I get you really ain't got nothing on it yet. Get the bait, reel them in. Oh, okay, now we got them solidified. Now we got solidified people in here who gonna come and tune back in. Let's take y'all on the history lesson. Let's tell you about the Houston Comets. Let's tell you about this. Get them in first. It's the preseason. Let's see what y'all do during this season. Just take advantage of what you got. And this is why I hope they don't ruin this by trying to be bitter and trying to say this, or they show the young players more love than new players. Forget all that. Let's handle this business. And Toronto, getting a team, Toronto's a perfect example. I'm still on the fence that I believe the Houston Comets should return. I don't care what nobody says. That was one of the best teams in history today. If you go expand the team again, you got to bring San Francisco shouldn't get a team before Houston too. The Houston Comets should be back. But I like this. I think Toronto's going to do a great. I think Toronto's going to do great for the city. But now we expand at this point, and we're going over to Canada in a new CBA, which is going to end this year. They better have a flight. They better try their best to get the flight things changed for the teams.
So. Yeah, and with the Rockets now on the upswing and on the uprise post James Harden, Tillman Fertitta, this I think would be the best time for you to make sure that one of those next 2 WNBA franchises is the rebirth of the Houston Comets.
Yes.
Bring it back, and bring it back, because again, the Rockets are on the upswing. The Houston Comets came in right there towards the end of that Houston Rockets mini dynasty. They were still very competitive, but now is a good time to bring the Houston Comets in. So let's do it.
I'm down with it. Episode 74, Sean. What do you have for episode 74? Do you got a number?
Well, so we didn't do 73.
Yeah, we didn't do 73.
We didn't do 73, but I'm gonna shock you with number 73. Okay. I'm gonna go for 73. I'm gonna go with the best guard, in my opinion, to ever play in the NFL. That's Larry Allen. Played for the Dallas Cowboys. Hate the Cowboys, but Larry Allen was a monster. I can acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. And for 74, I'm gonna go with Fred Dean. Fred Dean, defensive end from the San Francisco 49ers, a Hall of Famer. So 74 for me is Fred Dean.
Fred Dean. I don't get one off top. I mean, I could look up this list, just say like Bruce Matthews, but I would I ain't really about pick. So I don't get nothing for the number 74. But yeah, no. Let me see. What can I do for number 7 or 74? I'm trying to think of one. Player with number 7. It's so crazy. I'm not giving KD no credit right now. Or number 4. I don't got nothing. I don't got nothing for it. I got nothing for 74. I'm stuck. I got nothing for 7 or 4. I'll try to look up one. But yeah. We go Henry Jordan. There you go. Henry Jordan. Okay. Henry Jordan. Yeah, cool. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Real Take So Break the Base live every Monday and Friday. SB, Sean Webb. We appreciate you guys tuning in and watch with us, man. See you guys on Monday. Peace.
Rucker Man.